Woman, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man.
The $6 Million Man wasn't just a bionic adventure.
How did that happen?
Meditation. Sometimes it works.
It was a lawsuit magnet wrapped in reverse physics, budget-busting appetites, and pure television chaos that turned real NASA tragedy into slow-motion heroics while nearly getting sued over a single word. One wrestling legend drank 120 beers during filming and almost bankrupted the catering budget. One trademark battle over the word bionic nearly killed the show before it aired. And one mummified outlaw corpse was discovered on set, hidden in plain sight for 60 years. These are 40 explosive facts about the $6 Million Man. But wait until the end, because the bonus fact reveals why one country completely changed the title to avoid Holocaust associations. Engage your slow motion cameras. We're about to reconstruct some bionic memories.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology. But I don't want to spend a lot of money.
Fact 1. Real crash footage and credits.
Please stay in your seats and don't panic.
Picture this, October 10th, 1967. NASA test pilot Bruce Peterson screams across the desert floor in the experimental M2F2 lifting body. Then disaster strikes. The aircraft tumbles end over end in a horrific crash that should have killed him instantly. But Peterson survives, losing only his right eye. That real footage of genuine human catastrophe, it became the opening credits of the $6 Million Man. Every week, millions watched a man nearly die, then get rebuilt as television's ultimate hero. The irony was perfect and terrifying. Fact 2. 3 telefilms before the series.
I'm into the guitar.
Network executives weren't convinced a bionic man could carry a weekly series, so they demanded proof. 3 separate TV movies aired between 1973 and 1974, each testing different aspects of Steve Austin's world. The $6 Million Man, Wine, Women, and War, and The Solid Gold Kidnapping served as elaborate, expensive experiments. Lee Majors had to prove his cyborg credentials 3 times before ABC finally greenlit the series. It's almost unheard of in television history. 3 feature-length pilots for 1 character. Talk about expensive insurance. Fact 3, Dusty Springfield theme song.
He's the man. He's the man.
Before that iconic instrumental theme burned itself into pop culture history, early pilot episodes featured something completely different, a vocal track by soul legend Dusty Springfield. Her haunting voice sang about a man rebuilt from destruction, adding emotional weight to Steve Austin's tragedy. But network executives decided vocals were too distracting from the action. They stripped away Springfield's powerful performance in favor of the now legendary electronic score. That original theme exists somewhere in the vaults, a beautiful ghost of what could have been a very different show. Fact 4, Steve's strength added later.
I think we should spend these last few minutes together.
What last few minutes?
Originally, Steve Austin was just really fast with great hearing and telescopic vision. That was it. No super strength, no metal bending, no lifting cars over his head. But fans weren't satisfied watching a guy who could just run really fast and see far away. They demanded more spectacle, more power, more impossibility. So the writers scrambled to add strength scenes, retrofitting the character with abilities that weren't in the original concept. Sometimes the best creative decisions come from listening to your audience's wildest dreams and making them reality. Fact 5. Bionic nearly got sued.
It's a man who knows what he sees. Let's go.
The word bionic almost killed the show before it began. A major prosthetics company claimed they owned the trademark and threatened massive legal action against Universal Studios. Lawyers scrambled, executives panicked, and the entire production ground to a halt. The settlement details remain sealed, but somehow Universal secured the rights to use bionic in their title and marketing. Without that word, we might have gotten the $6 Million cyborg or the rebuilt man. Sometimes the most important battles happen in conference rooms, not on screen. Fact 6. Bionics had weaknesses. Steve Austin wasn't invincible. His bionic parts could be disabled by extreme cold. which would slow his hydraulics to a crawl. High-pitched frequencies could overload his bionic ear, leaving him temporarily deaf and disoriented. Zero-gravity environments wreaked havoc with his internal systems. Even electromagnetic pulses could shut him down completely. The writers smartly built vulnerabilities into their Superman, creating dramatic tension and reminding viewers that even miracles of technology have limits. It made Steve Austin more human, not less, despite his mechanical parts. Fact 7. First bionic sound used for a robot. That distinctive ch-ch-ch-ch sound effect that became synonymous with bionic action didn't debut with Steve Austin. It first appeared in an episode called Day of the Robot, used for an actual android character. The sound was so effective and memorable that the producers decided to retroactively apply it to all of Steve's bionic actions. They went back and added it to earlier episodes in syndication. A robot's sound effect became the audio signature of humanity enhanced. Sometimes the best creative decisions happen by accident, then get polished into perfection. Fact 8. Slow motion codified in Season 1. The famous slow-motion bionic sequences weren't planned from the beginning. They emerged organically during production of Population Zero, when director Reza Badi experimented with different speeds to show Steve's enhanced abilities. The technique was so visually striking that it became permanent show language. Every bionic action from that point forward got the slow-motion treatment. One experimental episode created a visual signature that would define not just this show, but influence action cinematography for decades. Sometimes innovation happens when someone decides to play with the camera settings. Fact 9. Reused sci-fi set. The eerily empty town in Population Zero wasn't built for the $6 million man. It was the abandoned movie set from The Andromeda Strain, Universal's 1971 science fiction thriller about a deadly alien microorganism. Instead of building from scratch, the producers repurposed the existing ghost town, adding their own touches and storyline. It was a brilliant cost-saving move that also gave the episode an authentically unsettling atmosphere. Sometimes the best production design comes from making smart use of what's already been built by someone else's imagination. Fact 10. Opening narration had 2 voices.
Two cameras are on.
Weather okay, Steve. Westerly at about 10 knots.
The famous opening narration, "We can rebuild him, we have the technology," wasn't delivered by one person. Producer Harve Bennett spoke the line, "A man barely alive," setting up the tragedy. Then actor Richard Anderson, who played Oscar Goldman on the show, delivered the rebuild promise that followed. 2 distinct voices created one unified promise of resurrection through technology. It was an unusual choice that added layers to the show's mythology. The voice of production paired with the voice of character, creating institutional authority for Steve Austin's impossible transformation. Fact 11. Lee Majors was born Harvey Yeary.
Better, stronger, faster.
The man who became television's ultimate hero started life as Harvey Lee Yeary in rural Kentucky. He took his stage name from Johnny Majors, the legendary football coach, combining it with his middle name. It's a perfect metaphor for reinvention. Just like Steve Austin, Harvey Yeary had to rebuild himself to become someone stronger. The name change happened before his acting career took off. But it's fitting that the star of a show about transformation had already transformed himself. Sometimes becoming a hero starts with choosing the right name for the journey. Fact 12. He almost quit
After its own automatic.
2 minutes at the most, if you can deactivate it, but that's impossible.
contract disputes during Season 3 nearly ended Lee Majors' run as Steve Austin. Producers were so concerned about losing their star that they secretly screen tested replacement candidates. Bruce Jenner, fresh from Olympic gold medal glory, auditioned for the role. Gil Gerard, who would later star in Buck Rogers, was considered. Even a young Harrison Ford met with executives. Majors ultimately stayed, but for a brief moment, television history almost pivoted completely. Sometimes the biggest behind-the-scenes drama involves the possibility of losing everything that makes a show work. Fact 13. Did his own stunts... Lee Majors insisted on performing his own stunts, and his body paid the price. He cracked ribs jumping over cars, tore shoulder muscles lifting heavy objects, and bruised his tailbone so severely during one fall sequence that he couldn't sit properly for weeks. The insurance company begged him to use stunt doubles, but Majors believed audiences could tell the difference. His commitment to authenticity left him battered and exhausted, but it gave the show a visceral reality that no amount of special effects could match. Sometimes being a hero means accepting that your body will pay the price. Fact 14. Reverse rooftop jumps. Those spectacular scenes of Steve Austin leaping incredible heights weren't achieved through wire work or trampolines. Instead, the stunt team used a brilliant reverse technique. Lee Majors would jump downward from the landing point while cameras rolled backward at high speed. When played forward at normal speed, it created the perfect illusion of an impossible upward leap. The technique required precise timing and multiple takes to get the physics right. It was old school movie magic at its finest, proving that sometimes the simplest solutions create the most convincing impossibilities on screen. Fact 15, short-lived mustache.
That'll make you a sexist.
Well, we can't have that, can we?
During season 4, the producers decided Steve Austin needed a new look and gave Lee Majors a mustache. The fan reaction was swift and brutal. Letters poured into ABC headquarters demanding the facial hair be removed immediately. Viewers felt it made their bionic hero look too much like a 1970s playboy and not enough like a government agent. The mustache disappeared after just a few episodes, never to return. Sometimes even the smallest changes to beloved characters can trigger passionate responses from devoted fans who know exactly how their heroes should look. Fact 16, Farrah Fawcett in 4 roles. Before she became Charlie's Angel, Farrah Fawcett appeared 4 separate times on The $6 Million Man, playing a different character in each appearance. She was a tennis pro, a stewardess, a scientist, and a government agent across various episodes. Each time she brought different energy and chemistry to her scenes with Lee Majors, who was her real-life husband at the time. It was like watching an actress audition for multiple roles within the same universe, showcasing her range while the show benefited from her star power and natural chemistry with the lead. Fact 17, William Shatner cameo.
Annie! Don't worry, Annie! Just hang on!
Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner, guest starred as astronaut Josh Lang in the episode Burning Bright. His character was a former NASA pilot dealing with the psychological aftermath of a space mission gone wrong. Shatner brought his trademark intensity to the role, creating a compelling parallel to Steve Austin's own journey from military pilot to enhanced government agent. The casting was inspired, one iconic TV hero helping another explore themes of duty, sacrifice, and the price of serving something larger than yourself. Sometimes the best guest stars are the ones who understand heroism from the inside. Fact 18. Flip Wilson, double role comedian.
Don't give me that skeptical scientist look. Neither of us was aware that your lab is...
Flip Wilson appeared in Double Trouble, playing both himself and a lookalike African prime minister who needed protection from assassins. The episode required Wilson to switch between his familiar comedy persona and a more serious dramatic role as the endangered political leader. It was a clever way to use his star power while creating genuine dramatic tension. The dual role allowed Wilson to showcase his acting range beyond comedy, proving that the show could attract major talent by offering them interesting creative challenges rather than just standard guest villain parts. Fact 19, Dr. Rudy Wells's rotating faces.
We estimate the cost to be roughly $6 million.
Dr. Rudy Wells, Steve Austin's bionic surgeon, was played by 3 different actors across the series. Martin Balsam originated the role in the TV movies, then Alan Oppenheimer took over for early episodes before Martin Brooks settled in for the long haul. Each actor brought different energy to the character. Balsam was paternal, Oppenheimer was scientific, and Brooks found the perfect balance of both. The character's face kept changing, but his relationship with Steve remained constant. Sometimes consistency comes from maintaining emotional truth even when the physical details shift. Fact 20, Major's country single.
I can't remember what it was like to be in love with you.
At the height of his $6 Million Man fame, Lee Majors recorded a country music single, capitalizing on his television success and his marriage to Farrah Fawcett. The song was a mediocre attempt to cross over into the music industry, riding the wave of his TV stardom. It failed to chart significantly, proving that bionic abilities don't necessarily translate to musical talent. But it's a fascinating artifact of 1970s celebrity culture when TV stars regularly attempted to parlay their fame into recording careers. Sometimes even heroes have dreams beyond their primary talents. Fact 21. Bigfoot was an alien robot.
I'd like to think the feeling's mutual.
In one of television's most bizarre plot twists, the $6 Million Man revealed that Bigfoot, the legendary cryptid, was actually an android created by ancient aliens to guard their secret Earth base. This wasn't just weird, it was gloriously, unapologetically insane. The show took 2 completely unrelated pop culture phenomena and smashed them together with the confidence of true believers. Steve Austin fought a robotic Sasquatch built by extraterrestrials in the California wilderness. The episode was so popular it spawned multiple sequels. Sometimes the craziest ideas produce the most memorable television moments. Fact 22. Andre the Giant as Bigfoot wrestling legend.
Are you a man? Well, it never hurts to ask.
Andre the Giant was cast as the alien android Bigfoot, bringing his genuine 7'4" frame and 520-pound presence to the role. But Andre's legendary appetite nearly broke the production budget. Catering costs skyrocketed as Andre consumed massive quantities of food and reportedly drank 120 beers during the filming of his episodes. The production team had never encountered anyone with such enormous physical needs. Andre's presence was worth every penny and every beer. His size made Bigfoot genuinely intimidating in a way that no costume or special effect could match. Fact 23. Ted Cassidy later played Bigfoot.
Oh boy, Steve said you were big, but this is ridiculous.
After Andre the Giant's budget-breaking stint, the producers needed a new Bigfoot. They cast Ted Cassidy, famous for playing Lurch on The Addams Family, who brought a completely different energy to the role. Cassidy was tall but not giant-sized, requiring creative camera angles and forced perspective to maintain Bigfoot's imposing presence. His background in horror comedy gave the character a more theatrical, less purely physical menace. The transition from wrestling star to character actor showed how the same role could be interpreted completely differently while maintaining the essential mystery and threat of the android Sasquatch. Fact 24. The fembots debuted in Kill Oscar.
Severe warning, because now I have the weather control system.
The iconic fembots, android women with removable faces revealing circuitry underneath, first appeared in a crossover episode that spanned both the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman. These perfectly beautiful women would seduce their targets, then reveal their mechanical nature in moments of pure horror. The removable faces became one of television's most memorable and disturbing images. The fembots represented the dark side of perfection, beautiful shells hiding deadly machinery. They were the antithesis of Steve and Jamie's heroic enhancement, showing how the same technology could create monsters instead of heroes. Fact 25. The $7 Million Man.
Well, well, Joey, we have been joined by a real celebrity.
Barney, don't.
Be at ease, my love.
Steve Austin's friend Barney Hiller received bionic enhancements that were even more powerful than Steve's, making him the $7 Million Man. But the enhanced strength came with mental instability. Barney's mind couldn't handle the physical upgrades, and he became dangerously unpredictable. The episode explored the dark side of bionic enhancement, suggesting that there were psychological limits to human improvement. Barney's tragic story served as a warning about the price of power and the importance of the mental strength that made Steve Austin special beyond his mechanical parts. Sometimes more power means more problems. Fact 26. The Bionic Boy flopped.
We have the technology to rebuild him. I want it done no matter what the cost.
In 1978, producers attempted to expand the Bionic universe with The Bionic Boy, featuring a young athlete who received bionic legs after a tragic accident. The pilot episode tested poorly with audiences who found the concept too similar to existing shows without adding anything new to the mythology. The character lacked the military background and adult complexity that made Steve Austin compelling. The failed spin-off proved that the bionic concept couldn't be endlessly replicated. It required the right character, the right actor, and the right story to work. Sometimes franchise expansion reveals the unique magic of the original. Fact 27. The Bionic Woman died on screen.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't help overhearing your conversation. The bionic ear you put.
Jaime Sommers' introduction episode ended with her apparent death when her bionic implants rejected, causing catastrophic system failure. Steve Austin watched helplessly as the woman he loved died from the same technology that had saved his life. It was a genuinely tragic ending that left viewers devastated. But fan reaction was so overwhelmingly negative that the producers quickly wrote a resurrection storyline, explaining that Jaime had only appeared to die while doctors worked to save her. Sometimes killing a character reveals how much audiences have invested emotionally, forcing creators to find ways to undo their own dramatic choices. Fact 28. Wedding episodes scrapped network executives.
I do. Yeah. You do, huh?
Clashed over plans for Steve Austin and Jaime Sommers to marry during the series' run. ABC wanted the wedding to boost ratings, but other executives worried it would fundamentally change both characters' dynamics and limit future storytelling possibilities. The planned wedding episode was scrapped, leaving their relationship in romantic limbo for years. They finally married in the 1989 reunion movie Bionic Ever After, when the shows were nostalgic television history rather than active series. Sometimes the most important story decisions get made in boardrooms rather than writers' rooms. Fact 29, Bigfoot crossover event.
Tell me something, Colonel. What makes a woman attractive in your world?
The Return of Bigfoot was a two-part crossover that began on The $6 Million Man and concluded on The Bionic Woman, forcing viewers to watch both shows to get the complete story. It was an early example of the modern crossover event, using shared continuity to boost ratings for both series. Steve Austin and Jaime Sommers worked together to stop the alien android from destroying a critical government installation. The crossover proved that the Bionic universe was large enough to support multiple heroes while creating must-see television that transcended individual show loyalties. Fact 30, Carnival of Spies discovery.
I just saw something.
What?
During filming of Carnival of Spies, the production crew made a macabre discovery in a Long Beach amusement park funhouse: the mummified corpse of Elmer McCurdy, a turn-of-the-century outlaw who had been dead for over 60 years. McCurdy's body had been passing as a prop for decades, moving from carnival to carnival before ending up as a hanging decoration. The discovery halted production while authorities investigated. It was a perfect metaphor for the show itself. Sometimes the most unbelievable stories turn out to be completely real, hidden in plain sight. Fact 31, Kenner's figure outsold Star Wars.
Is that the $6 Million Man's boss?
It's Oscar Goldman.
Kenner's 1975 Steve Austin action figure was one of the most successful toys of the decade, initially outselling even their Star Wars line. The 12-inch figure featured a removable skin flap revealing bionic circuitry, a telescopic eye that actually worked, and bionic grip action. Kids could literally see inside their hero, understanding his mechanical nature in a tactile way that the TV show could only suggest visually. The toy's success proved that the $6 Million Man had achieved true cultural penetration, moving beyond television into the realm of play and imagination, where lasting pop culture legends are born. Fact 32, Interactive Surgery Kit.
That's the way we operate, Steve. That's not the way I operate.
The Steve Austin figure came with removable bionic parts that kids could swap in and out of his arm and leg, essentially performing surgery on their action figure hero. It was a brilliant design that made children active participants in Steve Austin's mythology rather than passive observers. Kids could rebuild him, just like the opening credits promised, understanding his bionic nature through hands-on play. The interactivity created a deeper connection between child and character, making every play session a reenactment of the show's central premise of technological resurrection and enhancement. Fact 33, rare blue tracksuit variant.
So it's my fault, because I'm a woman driver.
Among collectors, the Holy Grail is a rare variant of the Steve Austin figure wearing a blue tracksuit instead of the standard red one. Only a few thousand were produced, making them extremely valuable today. The blue suit appeared in some international markets and was also used for a brief period in the US before being discontinued. It's one of those manufacturing quirks that became a collector's obsession, proof that even small variations in mass-produced toys can become treasured artifacts of pop culture history. Sometimes the rarest items are the ones that were never supposed to be special. Fact 34, Charlton Comics published 2 series.
There's something different about you. What is it?
That's my accent.
Charlton Comics created 2 completely different $6 Million Man series, a colorful, kid-friendly comic book and a darker, more realistic black and white magazine. The regular comic focused on action and adventure suitable for younger readers, while the magazine explored more mature themes and psychological aspects of bionic enhancement. This dual approach allowed the franchise to serve different audiences simultaneously, proving that the concept was flexible enough to work across multiple age groups and storytelling styles. Sometimes, the best adaptations recognize that different formats require different approaches to the same source material. Fact 35. Top comic artists involved.
Infrared with a 10, 12 to 1 zoom.
20.
The comic book adaptations attracted some of the industry's most respected artists, including Neil Adams and Howard Chaykin, who brought their distinct visual styles to Steve Austin's world. Adams' realistic art style perfectly captured the show's blend of technology and humanity, while Chaykin's more stylized approach emphasized the science fiction elements. Their involvement elevated the comics beyond simple TV tie-ins, creating genuine artistic statements about the character and his world. Sometimes the best adaptations happen when top-tier talent applies their skills to popular culture material, creating something that transcends its origins. Fact 36. UK look-in comic strip.
What do? Call on the Marines? No, give me a little time to get established as a lumberjack, see what's going on.
British magazine Look-In featured original $6 Million Man comic strips drawn by Martin Asbury and written by Angus Allen, creating new adventures not seen on television. These strips often explored different aspects of Steve Austin's character and included storylines that would have been impossible or too expensive for the TV show. The British interpretation added its own cultural perspective to the American character, showing how international adaptations can reveal new dimensions of familiar characters. Sometimes the best expansions of a fictional universe happen when different cultures apply their own storytelling traditions to established characters. Fact 37. Brazilian senators nicknamed Bionics.
You've got to break through and stop Quail.
During Brazil's military dictatorship in the 1970s, appointed senators who weren't elected by popular vote were nicknamed Bionicos after the $6 Million Man. The term implied they were artificial politicians, created by the government rather than chosen by the people. It was a clever piece of political satire that used pop culture to criticize authoritarian power. The nickname stuck and became part of Brazilian political vocabulary, proving that fictional characters can become powerful metaphors for real-world situations. Sometimes entertainment creates language that helps people understand and critique their political reality. Fact 38. Israel retitled it,
I can't let Jamie get into that kind of danger.
In Israel, the show aired as The Man Worth Millions, rather than The $6 Million Man, because the number 6 million had profound Holocaust associations that would have made the title deeply inappropriate and potentially offensive. The retitling showed cultural sensitivity while maintaining the essential meaning of the show's premise. It demonstrated how global entertainment must adapt to local historical contexts and cultural sensitivities. The change preserved the show's core concept while respecting the weight of historical memory. Sometimes small changes in presentation can mean the difference between inclusion and exclusion for different audiences. Fact 39. Kids injured imitating him. Children across America began jumping off roofs and performing dangerous stunts, hoping to discover their own bionic abilities after being injured. The imitation attempts became so widespread that Lee Majors and the show's producers issued public safety warnings, reminding kids that Steve Austin's abilities were fictional and that real injuries wouldn't result in bionic enhancements. The incidents showed the powerful impact television heroes could have on young viewers who desperately wanted to emulate their fictional role models. Sometimes the greatest compliment to a character's appeal is also the greatest concern for public safety. Fact 40. Jim Carrey reboot almost happened.
Bottle of wine, flickering candles, and an incredibly beautiful sunset.
In the 1990s, Jim Carrey was attached to star in a comedy musical version of The $6 Million Man, with director Todd Phillips set to helm the project. The concept would have completely reimagined the character as a comedic figure, playing up the absurdity of bionic enhancement for laughs rather than drama. The project never materialized, leaving fans to wonder what a comedic interpretation might have looked like. Sometimes the most interesting adaptations are the ones that never happen, existing only as fascinating what-if scenarios that reveal different possible interpretations of beloved characters and concepts.